There you go. All right. Hitting the ground running. Put this plane together as we go. Let's get weird.
So parasites, and then, as we left off last episode, grounding sheets.
Grounding sheets. Did you buy one?
No,
Do you have
I'm
a
looking
review
into
for one?
it. No. I'm going to get there. But no, I actually got to go back and review a whole bunch of stuff to monetize shit. Like, I just learned if there were alternate money adventures this last 2 years, 3 years.
Alternate money adventures?
Yeah. So anytime, say you go to Amazon and you click on someone's review and you make a purchase after that, they get a kickback.
Yeah. Yeah, the same thing is true for TikTok. I know we were talking about that later. Like,
I didn't even look too much into the whole banning, and I'm just like about time, or it's just too much. And just the simple fact that you can see the difference between I want to say real TikTok, like the Chinese version, and then American TikTok.
yeah.
Like I just heard some of the differences, and I'm like, that's they're like, yeah, everything's inspirational and like motivational, and they show them all these accomplishments and stuff, and they don't have 90% of the crap shit that we have on there, or they're not at least like shoving it in your face, I don't know, like, and then all of our stuff is just, they went on this dark and depressing thing where you can, if that's what you want to look at, the algorithm's like, yeah, more blood and guts, here you go.
Yeah, that I think it's just social grooming from Chinese.
Right, and they were talking about, again, this is for entertainment purposes only. We are not suggesting, condoning, or condemning any ideas that the Chinese spyware may be controlling your life. But anyway, grounding sheets. So being 70% water.
Smooth transition.
Yeah.
All right, 70% water. You looked into this? You did some...
No, just again, back in the whole grounding thing like before. So again, instead of walking and being connected to the earth, right, we sleep, a third of our lives? Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you're losing all that grounding time there. So while you sleep, your sheets are metal, or they're copper and a mesh of silver, and you plug it into the grounding connection to your wall, so it does the same thing.
Okay.
So you get all that healing benefit while you sleep. And some more of this alternative medicine. And then
to me, that still sounds like a filter, though, to tell you the honest truth.
Filter? What do you mean?
So you have to buy this product that connects to your already established plugs that then go through a series of circuits and wires and then go into the ground, whereas you could just take off your shoes and walk on the grass.
Well, it's not just well, one, if there's any sort of benefit, you can always make something yourself, but of course you can make a product for it and sell something. Is that necessarily bad? No.
Well, that's capitalism at its finest.
I mean, is that terrible? The terrible part would be like, you can only do it with these products. You can only have this benefit with the products bought from us, kind of thing. That, I think,
keep off the grass. We've made grass walking illegal. You have to buy the sheet.
Exactly.
Buy the grounding sheet.
That's the kind of shit I think would be terrible. But just the fact that knowing about it, I mean, I'm sure you could make your own sort of meshing, copper sheet and, ground it probably to the floor or through your floor.
Oh, yeah, you could probably
earth instead, So getting more into it, but just trying to do with that. And then,
like those weighted blankets, you can make your own weighted blankets.
Those are sick, yeah.
But then again, you have the risk of it conducting electricity anyway if it's not properly insulated and protected.
See?
So that's where the danger lies in my brain. So if it's properly insulated and doesn't have any electrical draw, and you literally just plug it into the ground on the outlet, provided you know which one is the ground out of the three, I really hope you do. But if not,
I made it foolproof because
educate yourself.
I learned which one the ground was. I mean, I kind of knew from family and stuff. They always talked, and I'm like, I never paid attention, but the three prongs, the bottom one, it looks like the radio plug into your fucking stereo.
That's a trick, because in an industrial setting, their standard in the States, our standard plug is flipped upside down, so the ground is at the top.
Is the plug flipped upside down though?
Yeah, the whole plug is flipped upside down.
So now, like the old one is like the face. I didn't even notice this until someone threw it up on a pareidolia fucking slide. You make patterns and see things in your mind. And then someone put like the emoji for a smiley face next to a plug. And ever since then, I'm like, I can't stop seeing them as little smiley fucking like, faces. you know. But yeah, stick it in their mouth. Put the little tab in the mouth. That's the best thing. Anyway.
This is not professional advice. Please do not stick a fork in the plug thinking that you're grounding yourself.
You're not. No. Don't. No. That's
Take
where,
off your shoes and go walk in the grass.
hypothetically, this product, these grounding sheets, told you to stick the plug, use directions, please remove the cardboard from your pizza before you put it in the oven, folks.
Right, like, I was just thinking right now, with all these statements we've just made, there's some liability, like, I tried it, oh my god, blah, blah, blah. I got bit by ants at the park. Please do this at your own risk.
For any decisions or faulty, life choices you make, regardless of any information you did not research on your own.
Please consult with a professional grass walker before walking on the grass.
Dude, what was that Flexi guy? that shoe guy?
Yeah, the Flexi guy.
Oh my god, that'd be perfect for him. Nice segue plug, by the way. Like, most flexible human I've ever seen in my life, probably.
Stay flexy.
Besides someone who's like a stage performer. You know what I'm saying? Like a ballet, like someone naturally. But that motherfucker, like...
Well,
that was a great commercial, too. Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Years of that, I'm sure. But still, though, that was great. Whoever did his commercial for him, beautiful shit. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful commercial. We can get some toe shoes anyway, by the way. So we can ground them. So we can get some toe grounding shoes. Anyway, parasites. Nice. So apparently not only are we electric beings, we need to be thinking about things conductively or grounding ourselves and alternative medicine, if I can use that term. But apparently the secret to the healthcare industry is that no one's supposed to talk about that we're infested with parasites, and that's what basically kills us from everything, that everything's caused from parasites.
Huh. Are you saying that like a virus is a parasite? Is that
No, totally different thing. Like an actual living organism, like a fucking worm, a tapeworm, little parasites that live in your fucking body and shit that cause all kinds of crap.
Huh.
And so there are cultures who do parasite cleanses. They eat certain foods like papaya seeds, I believe, and pumpkin seeds that have a chemical in them that kill parasites. We don't talk about this because in America it's huge business for us to keep you sick.
It's all woo-woo. If the TV didn't tell us, then it's all woo-woo and bullshit.
Right? So I've seen some shit where we talked about the girl who put pork chop and then dumped Coke on it. You saw the fucking parasites coming out of the pork chop and shit?
No.
Yeah, dude. I'll never look at a pork chop the same way. I'm still eat me some bacon though. God, those parasites are tasty. But it's just crazy to look at and see it happening.
Is it raw?
She picked two fucking pork chops. They both look nice and beautiful, and I was like, cool. She just started dumping Coke on one of them. I'm like, okay, this is
like
weird.
She went to her dealer and put some white powder on that thing, or like
Coca-Cola soda.
There you go, dude. That's our next video.
Oh, I saw someone stick a tooth in a bottle, and anyway, but it was like two or three little doses. She just bathed it real quick, like marinated it real fast on a plate, and you just started seeing fucking worms, parasites crawling up out of the fucking goddamn pork.
Well, anyway, that's the basis for religious people not to eat cloven foot animals.
Yeah, I saw that, and it goes back into it. But then also, there's parasite. If you ever eaten sushi, you have parasite.
Oh, okay.
That's what I saw, and I was
I've
like,
got parasites.
Well, fuck. Yeah, so
I
apparently
enjoy parasites then, in that manner.
Not just that, but they talk about all these benefits. You've heard all these benefits to these, like, fasting, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that someone was talking about...
Hold on. Wait.
They started talking about how the fasting works so well because you're killing the parasites. You're starving them of food and killing off the parasites when you do that. And I was like, that's interesting to think about.
Huh.
And then, who is it, you maybe, or someone? Someone brought up to me that it's against the law. I think it was you. We talked about this before. It's against the law for doctors to see live, like, slides of someone's brain. They have to be frozen.
That wasn't me, dude.
Fuck.
Sorry. You have a lot of woo-woo conversations.
Because you could see the fucking parasites, so they have to be frozen.
They have to be frozen?
Some shit like that,
yeah. Oh, we're going to have to take a break real quick. I got to stop by over there. I've had way too much coffee.
He just killed, what was that, 20 ounces?
Yeah.
In like...
Yeah, and that's like my 8th cup of coffee just this morning. Let's go!
know if I turn this off.
You don't turn it on. You don't touch it.
That's what I'm saying. How do I know if I accidentally turned it off? Because I'm grabbing it working.
The green is on. See the green?
Now I see.
Green means go.
Got it. See?
No green, no
Technical
go.
training, folks. Don't worry. We're getting professional.
I was just thinking, like, after a while, this is going to be a whole fucking production. We're going to have to just haul it all to the park, and that'll be a pain in the nuts. Anyway, going back to the...
Not really, once we find a nice spot and get a routine.
Right?
We got some, was it Tai Chi masters over here? Damn.
It is.
Group's growing. It was like 3, and now it's like...
Tai Chi
7?
is a really, really good, great exercise. Anyway.
Low impact.
We'll get
parasites.
We'll get back to the world after I go to the bathroom. Took a bathroom break really early. 10 minutes in. All right. Let's add more recordings.
Right,
and we're back.
Were we ever gone, though? Are we even here? Are any of us here?
The funny thing is that you do stuff on that, and then in the podcast, it's like 10, not even a tenth of a second. It's just like, all right, and there's talking again.
Exactly.
I noticed that about the Rogan podcast, too. Just,
let's go take a piss.
Let's go take a piss. And then they come back, and we're back. Like, what happened? A tenth of a second, maybe.
Honestly, you just got to be like, flash a card, be like, cool, and then come right back. Because that's just all. So that's proof that they do edit some of the shit. Cause, I mean,
oh, they do edit some of the shit. Because they went... I don't know what it was, but he was like, I need to hear a song. And then they quote unquote come back, and it's him saying, okay, we'll edit that out. I don't edit it, mostly because I don't know how to yet, but
that's how you know it's authentic, folks. All the bullshit mistakes.
And the blatant cussing without the beep.
You know what? I want a strong stance, and I don't believe anyone under the age of 18 should be listening to the shit we have to say.
That's true. That is very true.
Not even a disclaimer. Just plain simple, folks. If you're under the age of 18, tune off.
So I wanted...
Just tune off. Come back when you have, life experience. I mean this respectively. Your opinions will change 17 times in the next year, so come back.
My opinion changes 17 times in a day, depending on the information that I'm given. Speaking of which, going back to that seeds thing that you were talking about,
pumpkin,
pumpkin and all that stuff. Have you heard of watermelon seeds? Right?
Okay, I heard something about that too.
What did you hear?
That they also will help with parasites. I think maybe it was a parasite thing. But
not only that, but black watermelon seeds are like protein rich, nutrient rich, all this stuff that's really good for you. And what were you told as a child? Do you remember?
Spit that shit out. Don't eat those. They'll grow in your stomach.
Exactly. Don't do that. So what has Big Pharma, FARMAH, done with watermelons?
Made them seedless.
Yeah, what can you do? You could buy all kinds of seedless watermelons. Why? Can
we go back to the death seeds, I think they were called?
Death seeds?
Or suicide seeds?
Oh, the apple tree?
Okay, in a lot of countries, a lot of places, Monsanto, who was bought out by whoever the fuck ever, has genetically engineered almost everything. So they made seed gathering, seed collecting illegal in a lot of places that we've done for generations. On top of that, if you're a farmer next to someone who is buying your natural and next to someone who's fucking using GMO seeds and their shit naturally blows over to your land, Monsanto or whoever fucking can sue you and had sued people for fucking stealing their shit.
Yep. I heard it was the other way around. Like if you're an organic farmer and your organic seeds or whatever spread into the next farm, the neighboring farm, they could sue you for whatever the legalese is.
Either way, it's retarded. But
it is quite ridiculous.
The suicide seeds are, plants produce naturally. You talk about how they genetically modify them not to have seeds. Because again, what do you have to do? Whether you're a farmer or anyone, you have to go back and buy more seeds.
Yep.
Even if you get plants that have seeds in them or from that natural seed, they're made genetically now to die off and not produce naturally anymore. You have to buy seeds every fucking year. So, yeah.
What is that? The heirloom seeds?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The ones that you want to buy if you want perennial or annual or to have your own perpetual crops?
Yeah. It's so fucked up how
So the fruit of the plant you can't replant because it just won't have it, right? That won't grow, what have you.
Yeah, how fucked up is that? And you can change one small aspect of the plant, and now you own watermelons, which something else I didn't know about. Looking into all this plant stuff before, I thought it was genetically modified to have these different versions of strawberries and shit.
Okay.
No, right?
No?
You can take any vegetable now back to like 100 years ago. We have like less than 0.00 whatever % of the fucking vegetable and food fucking variety that we used to have.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't know that there were actually these many different types of fucking vegetables, cucumbers and tomato, all this different shit that we've just gone down to. This is what a tomato is. This is what a strawberry is versus the huge amount of varieties that we had before. I didn't know that. Like, we've lost all kinds of shit unless it's sitting in the fucking seed bank and
Yeah. And our Antarctica,
somewhere, wherever the fuck.
they have a vault of seeds that they just collected over the years. Yeah.
Yeah, so unless you get some of those, but yeah, I looked up into it because I was in the whole heirloom thing, and you look further into it, like we've got, we think 50 some vegetables. There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of varieties of fucking vegetables and fruits and shit before, and I'm like, what the fuck? I was blown away. I was like appalled, sick to my stomach.
That's the whole basis for that Ugly Foods company too. Plug, they give us the ugly stuff, or they sell the ugly fruits and vegetables or what have you, and they're perfectly fine. They're okay. They just don't look pretty. Like, you know what baby carrots are? Baby carrots are all the ugly carrots that don't fit our idea of what a carrot should look like. They whittle them down to those little, like, I'll just come out and say it, those penis prongs or whatever.
They look like a carrot version of a pigs in a blanket wiener. They do.
Yeah. So they whittle them down so that way they could sell them as quote-unquote baby carrots because they came out ugly.
Because we're so commercialized now to be like, this is what a carrot is supposed to look like. The Roger Rabbit, fucking Bugs Bunny, fucking carrot versus it's crooked or bent or fucking stubby.
However a natural tuber would grow. Yeah. However a natural tuber would grow.
Crazy, man.
Is this what your poisoning ourselves conversation started before we went hot mics?
Well, I mean, again, we were talking about that one unnamed product, Ola. It's a drink. Starts with a coal. But you seen that thing where someone took a tooth that got pulled or something? They stuck it in a jar of Coke and watched the thing deteriorate. I don't know how long it lasted, but I was just like watching it. And I'm like, holy fuck.
This goes back to that lawsuit about the mouse in the Mountain Dew can.
Yeah, they're allowed legally to have, like, was it 2/3 or whatever of a fucking rat in your bottle, folks, by the way?
Somebody,
you know that.
Somebody sued the major corporation because they're like, we found a mouse tail in our cola product. And they retorted with, that's impossible. It would have dissolved by the time you consumed it.
What?
Yeah.
Their legal basis is like, that's impossible. We know our acid product would have dissolved almost anything besides the
yes,
non-recyclable plastic that comes in by the time you drank that crap.
Yes, and to tell you the honest truth, I don't know if the lawsuit was Pepsi or Coke, which is why I avoided, naming the company, but I'm pretty sure it's one of their Mountain Dew-ish products or what have you, the yellow product that the person was like, I found this in it. And they're like, no, it would have dissolved by the time it got to you. From the time it was manufactured to the time it got to you, it would have dissolved. And that is food for thought.
That's...
Are you going to do anything at this station, or do you want to
I'm just following suit, bro. I'm smooth.
All right, I want to head over to that other station. I want to try some other stuff that I learned from other podcasters and broadcasters and stuff.
Oh, it's good stuff. I'm enjoying my natural smoothie that I literally watched them stick a banana in. A real banana, folks. Imagine that. And the strawberry rose Pop-Tart that they made for me has literal chunks of dried strawberry sitting on the top of this motherfucker.
Yeah, it's...
What, real food? I know. Real food is just crazy. I can't preserve it. I got to eat that shit soon. It's going to go bad. And I can't go back and complain. You know, they're going to give me another one. And it came in, oh my God, human wrapped cellophane that they probably touched. Oh, fuck.
You got germs.
Now, they have really good Dexter gloves. Every one of those people has nice black latex gloves on.
It's probably nitrile gloves because latex has an allergy associated with it.
I mean, yeah,
too.
that's fine. As long as there's some sort of, sexual barrier, some sort of barrier, between the intimacy between, your fingers and my food in my mouth, then we're fine. Of course, then again, there's that old saying, the secret ingredient to food is love. There's that actual energy connection between, when you make food, when you actually touch food. That's why real chefs, folks, I don't know if you ever know, none of them wear gloves. You get to a certain level in the food industry and they don't wear gloves. They have dirty towels on their waists that they wipe their hands on.
Yeah, but they're
in between.
Continually to washing their hands.
Yeah, you say that, but no, they just wipe that shit and then go right back to whatever, and wipe that shit and go right back to whatever. I'm pretty
sure they don't wipe their ass and then go back to whatever.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about washing their hands in between, I'm not saying that they're dirty, but again, too, how much, can you get just wiping your hands on a towel? However, folks, let's go back to that scene, real home cooking with your grandma hanging in fucking towel over her shoulder, an apron.
Yeah.
She wasn't washing her hands every 10 seconds. She was just like, dough, got it. Meat, got it.
Yeah, but then again, she also wasn't going to the bathroom and not washing her hands either.
Why do you keep bringing up the bathroom? I'm just talking about food
I'm just saying, whenever
here.
I think of restaurant workers or whatever, I remember the days where I was washing dishes and they're like, you have to wash your hands before you come back because if we get sued for this, everybody's getting fired, kind of a thing.
I think a lot of that, honestly, when I see that, I think that's really just because that is a symptom of the sickness of how we are shit at raising ourselves, like a society, like actually raising each other.
We had a whole
culturally,
pandemic and everybody was just like, wash your hands and cover your mouth and this will stop spreading disease. Those 2 years were the best 2 years of my life. I didn't get sick at all.
Yeah, you're right.
Because everybody was washing their hands.
And this is what I have to say. And again, there's a lot of controversy about the whole mask thing, like sheeple, do you're told, whatever. Look, folks, the adult equivalent to covering your face with a fucking napkin with strings on it didn't make you a fucking zombie, okay? However, I will say, on the other side of that mask, the fucking momos in their own cars driving down the street by themselves with a mask on, or people in a fucking pool with a mask on, or, it was just another one where it was people playing flutes.
With masks on?
And they had them
the whole cut
Yeah,
out.
exactly. Stuff like that, that's where I get the whole, okay, let's use our brains here. I get it. We need to be 6 feet apart. Okay, we need to be, making sure we don't spread this airborne disease.
I don't even care about all that.
Hold on,
yeah.
just move each other apart. Take your mask off. Why? Because they're literally blowing in from their face, sir. That makes no sense.
Well,
that to me, that's the part where we should have been like, look, wear your mask, stay as far apart as you can, but don't be a fucking idiot.
Yes.
That's it.
My whole issue with all of that was, this is great. We're not getting sick for 2 years, but what's going to happen when all this goes away? And
dude, I
what
miss
happened
being
with
able
all
to roll
that?
into a fucking store. I don't know if anyone else has experienced the pleasure.
And not buy toilet paper?
No. The pleasure of rolling into a fucking 24-hour store with your pajamas and half-dressed fucking look, be able to cruise around with the other 6 zombies at 2 o'clock in the morning because you don't want to fucking, waste your time when there's fucking cart-to-cart traffic. That's what I miss. That's what I fucking miss. Well, that bird, didn't know what to do. It flew off there, came back around us, and went right back. And it was like,
and then looked me square in the eye and went, I got to get out of here.
Oh, that was cool.
Yeah.
That's what I miss, honestly.
Oh, this is going to be ass for recording.
And then all the late stuff, things close sooner now.
People do what sooner now?
Things close sooner.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like that bullshit.
In our area, Walmart stopped being 24 hours, too.
Not just that, but everything from 10 is now 8, or,
Yeah.
Instead of midnight, it's now 10, or, yeah.
trying out different exercises because I saw the flexi guy, and you're like, hey, the flexi guy did the thing, and it's like, oh yeah.
Fuck yeah! Sometimes you see some shit and you're like, man, I gotta get some abs. Or, God damn, I wish I could stick my leg over.
No,
my
they were
head. Like that's what that guy.
They were
Maybe some
encouraging
toe shoes, toe
hanging,
socks.
doing your dead hangs,
Uh-huh.
stuff like that, and then leveling it up, doing the swings, and then leveling it up, doing the rotations, and then leveling it up to doing pull-ups.
Nice.
So that's where I was at. All right.
Keep it weird. That's my motto.
Keep improving on yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not all that into it. I don't want to freak out that guy either.
Really? So don't. I mean, we were there first of all. And secondly, Wayne, don't you ever change your weirdness for anyone else?
Fair. I don't know, dude. Things get really, really woo-woo on this podcast, especially when you're like, hey, did you happen to know that I could plug my blanket in to the outlet and not use it for a heat source?
Right? I mean...
Is it time?
No, you got 5 minutes on a 20-minute timer.
All right. Well, we already paused and uploaded one segment, so I'll just do it again when the timer goes off. And there you go. There's so much that just escaped my mind right now. Trying to incorporate a lot.
Don't ever stop you from being your weird.
I don't care, but at the same time, I don't want to hear
China don't
grunting.
want anyone ever stop you from being weird. That's what my phone just said.
China doesn't want you to stop anyone from being weird.
No, so I tried to record that for a memo later, and it said some shit about China. And it's fucking weird. I don't know.
Let's go around again. I'm not done.
Oh yeah.
I'm not done. I have yet begun to cast today.
Well, you gotta go home and family. I don't have the family.
Yeah. Yeah.
What? I'm good. Single life. I'm fulfilled.
You're fine. Just sell more product, click more bait, do that thing.
No, I'm trying not to fat, bro. That's terrible. Like, that energy. Heard this stuff.
It is interesting the amount of stuff that I'm getting on my own personal YouTube doom scrolling pages.
Really?
Yeah, so we're talking a lot about energy, we're talking about a lot about electricity, about flow, about health. And so I've gotten a lot of the Chinese philosophies on my YouTube feed, not my TikTok feed, because I really don't go on TikTok, despite what my wife thinks. Because she goes on there and it's like, it's all just boobies and booties on there. And I'm like, not really. Not on mine.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what you fed your algorithm when it was younger. But
Exactly. It's all about what you feed your algorithm, not
it's like those
necessarily...
little Tamagotchi pets when we were like in 8th grade. Remember that? 6th grade?
Oh, yeah. You got to keep them alive.
Well, again, like, I want to think about it now. Like, I want to make a meme where you think about, like, how did you feed your algorithm? Like, because our algorithm's pretty weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get strange shit. I get, and again, like, it's again, like, everyone's algorithm is different. So that's crazy, isn't it? How did you feed your stuff? So they're just like, it's a direct reflection on your view of the world. You think about it, what you like, what you're posting, what you're reposting.
Yes. Yes. So I've,
what's your fucking brain look like, folks? I mean, whose fault is that? I mean, like, take some personal responsibility. Start liking some cat videos, like fucking inspirational dog shit.
Inspirational dog shit.
I see
Whatever
all kinds of
keeps you
stuff,
going.
man. Whatever keeps you from being destructive to yourself or to others. There we go.
Hey, yeah.
That's a good.
Whatever helps you have a positive energy in life.
I'm smelling that.
Glyphosate. He is actually obligated to care for that portion, because if that burns, even though it's city property, it's on him.
No, that's one of those high pesticides that'll kill like any plant, isn't it?
Yeah, that's Roundup, or some variation of glyphosate.
Oh God!
That you can
even
smell.
still get Roundup? Isn't that a huge lawsuit with that Roundup?
Yeah,
shit?
they don't care. They're just like, oops, sorry, we'll pay out the money. You can still buy it, because in matters of taste, the consumer is always right.
So literally, it's like we reserve the right to continue to sell some poison because these fuckers want it.
Yeah, they settle out of court. They're like, we neither confirm nor deny, but here's hush money. Shut the fuck up. Go away.
Because, again, this is disgusting, but thinking of it as a business standpoint, it's still more profitable for them to continue selling this shit and then to pay out whatever random lawsuits come from it. Because
I really wish I could be a fly on the wall in 100 years and listen to those people go, they did what with leeches? They're still bleeding people out? That's not wise at all.
Okay, so, yeah, as you know, I have some medical friends, family. The whole medical leeches and medical fucking maggots, that stuff is still real because...
Yes, in certain situations.
Because, again, too, as barbaric as it may sound, they're still the most viable way to do stuff. And thinking about it naturally, homeopathically, I mean, thinking about it, you know, as creepy as it sounds that you and a corpse could, you know, have something in common with maggots that, you know, eating off all your necrotic dead flesh versus them sitting there cutting and burning it away.
Yes, that's where I was going to go with it. I was about to say, don't they get rid of it?
Oh yeah, that still reminds me of that scene in Gladiator when he wakes up and he's like, no, they will clean it. And he's got maggots all freaking in his shoulder and shit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's like, no, they're going to clean it. Yeah. So going on that whole holistic thing, there are more natural foods to combat
whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I made a tincture of some lemon and ginger.
Oh, nice.
And I drank some of that, like actual grown ginger, actual grown lemon that I bought from the store. So I didn't grow it, but
actually grown that I bought from the store.
Something actually grew. Oh, it's break time.
20 minutes.
See you in 1/10 of a second. But for us, it's going to be like 2 or 3 minutes as I upload this segment.
Time dilation, isn't it great?
Picking up where we left off, I made a little tincture of this lemon and ginger because it's supposed to help with whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'll give it a go because I regularly consume local honey and cinnamon in some fashion to help me fight off colds and flus. I'm not saying it's going to work for everyone, but I find it to be quite satisfying. However, this lemon and ginger shit... Dude, I don't know if I want to go this deep on the podcast, but
I hear it's real cleansing.
I have cleaned out my bowels quite thoroughly just today, and I started it last week. And oh my God, word to the wise, if you're thinking about this, if you even want to try this, don't do it on a work day. Don't, unless you're hourly and you really want to get paid to sit on your throne and, you know, read about weird ass woo-woo shit that you hear on a podcast or something like that. Don't.
You're young and healthy, you can be selling that woo-woo.
Don't. Yeah.
There's that poop. Anyway, go ahead, move on.
Yeah, that was about it, man. That was the brunt of it. Like, some of this stuff is really woo-woo. Some of it actually works. Like you saw with the grounding stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I'm gonna earth it up. Just randomly decide to bring myself to earth. Actually, you know, a couple weeks ago, I'm privileged to work for a place that has some acreage, shall we say. And a couple weeks ago, before we even did the experiment, I sat by a river and I took off my work boots and my socks and I just sat and I meditated next to a river. And it sounds really, really crazy, but it was one of the most peaceful experiences I've had in a while.
I instantly start feeling more peaceful. Like it, without like consciously just...
Mm-hmm. You're just not as aggravated,
not as
literally like just elevated.
Like, yeah.
Well, that's all about personal health too, is doing what you need to have inner peace too. And that goes along the whole Chinese medicine stuff that I was getting with that whole energy flow. I was trying to articulate concepts that I don't fully understand myself. So my feed, going back to like close everything up, circle everything up, is full of more Chinese medicine that's natural, holistic kind of stuff. Oh yeah. Kiddos enjoying the park. This moment of silence is brought to you by peace. Connect with the earth.
Connect with the earth.
What was that you were talking about, the rubber soles last week? You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't had rubber soles? Jar of that?
Well, people, again, that's the whole grounding. And why do we have rubber soles? And again, too, another facet on why things are the way that they are, back into the reset, the whole Targaryen thing, or why we aren't as healthy, or, you know, all these holistic things per se. Everything's made out of fucking oil.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is a byproduct of oil. So if you had control of some sort of substance that you could monopolize the entire world with, I would do it.
Right?
You know, I'd secure the rest of my family's lineage. Why wouldn't you? You know, like, it sounds terrible and everyone's in there benevolent, but I mean, that's survival at its best. Oh, I'm just going to walk with this shit.
There's too many burrs.
Really?
Yeah.
I haven't felt any burrs. We'll walk through the park. Yeah.
I stand by my statement.
Stand by my statement. You are the grass expert.
And the grass expert.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I don't have any expertise with
a few
grass.
years being a landscaper, taking care of the earth.
Was it only 20 minutes a day for 1 year, and you like already know more than 95% of the world on a subject? So, yep. I mean, you know, that's fucking crazy to think about, how we literally have infinite knowledge in our pockets. I thought about this as I was sitting playing video games, and I choose to sit here and do absolutely nothing with my time. It's
information overload. I think it's all designed. Yeah. I think it's all designed on purpose.
Well, I mean, even, okay, you know, on that angle, let's kind of go back to even like the Greek philosopher days. There's no way it would be fruitful to the mind and spirit to constantly just be talking about philosophy every fucking second that you're awake. So there's got to be some sort of moment where they're just like, all right, let's go drink beer and harass the women now.
Yeah.
As they, you know, would in the olden times.
Or
and I'm not condoning that behavior. I'm just saying. There you go.
Or
physical
wrestle,
activity.
physically exert themselves.
There you go. Yeah.
Who was it? Oh, dude. This is going to be one of those things that we have to Google. But one of the philosophers said, why a man who doesn't... Nah, this is too important.
Yeah.
Too important. But the basic premise is a person who doesn't make their physical body the peak performance of it could be is wasted or something like that.
Okay, I think, no, they tie the physical and the mental. Yeah, you can't, I think, because you can't exert yourself mentally if you don't physically or something like that. Yeah. Okay. Same thing, Bruce Lee talked about. He's like, how can I be the most masterful art? You know, my body's not in tune. You know? And same thing with his mind.
I'm Googling. I'm looking it up.
I remember he was training two famous people. I don't remember who the two famous people were. I can't remember. Action star and some other guy. And someone was interviewing him, and he was like, what do you wish they both would do? And he's like, I wish you'd be a little more like him and a little more like him. Like, one's so focused on the philosophy, one's so focused on the physical part of it. I wish they would both kind of, you know, do a little more like the other person.
Yeah, so the quote that I was getting at was, it's a shame for a man to grow old without seeing the beauty and strength of which his body is capable.
There you go. It's true, huh? Most of us never know what we were physically capable of by the time we...
I've been thinking about that a lot, especially in my current profession, because I see a lot of old, broken guys just barely hanging on, trying to wait till beer 30 just to get by, you know. And I'm talking to these guys like, yeah, I spend 20 minutes every morning stretching before I even think about getting ready for work.
It reminds me of something David Goggins was talking about. And I think, because it was a huge amount of time, but I believe he said he talked about how he stretches for like maybe 4 hours now or something like that. He was talking about how he stretches a lot. And he's like, okay, forgive me, Mr. Goggins, probably David Goggins. I fuck up any of your shit here, but he was talking about how he had this like lump in the back of his head. He was like shaving, and how, and he couldn't get rid of it, in health or whatever, and then started stretching more and stretching, and the lump receded in his head.
Makes sense to me, especially with the amount of physicality that guy has.
Yeah, so he's talking about how now he does all this stretching and shit, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah, but you see how the energy of the podcast just kind of like whoosh, took a dive?
Maybe. Well, because the kid showed up and I want to start swearing.
No. It was even before the kids showed up. We earthed it up. The kids showed up.
Okay.
Got a little bit more mellow and less like, blah!
Very true, yeah. There was a lot of like instantly kind of like...
mellow.
Not, like literally it sounds like the physical, mental part, like literally letting it go, like into the ground almost, like just, yeah. Mm-hmm. That negative energy, folks, you know what I'm saying?
It's just neutralizing that energy, that's all.
Right. Not be destroyed nor created. It can only be transferred energy.
Yep. I'm going to cut through right now to the bench and take a seat because I need a rest day.
Rest day.
I really do need a rest day. It's been a lot of physical activity for me the past couple of days, and I just have to rest, as it were. So, did you know that you have brain in your heart?
Did you know what?
That you have brain in your heart.
Something, huh?
They have the same neurons and cells in your heart, they found them, as are in your brain. So when people say, I feel, and you got to trust your heart, you got to trust your vibe, that's coming from a certain place.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I looked that up because I'm always trying to look up interesting stuff to talk about now. And just kind of like push the boundaries of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So, again, like discovering this whole like energy, focus, consciousness, going back to the old ways of things. I was like, what is that? Are you sure? Yeah, they've discovered. How rude. They've discovered the heart brain. So there's two types of tissues that are found in the brain, and one of the types is found in the heart, I believe. Again,
wow.
Going back to be more articulate and be more factual.
And then one guy was talking about how our heart was like an alternator or a generator, basically, because it's like wrapped in a bunch of coils.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That to make it like an electrically
Again, we were talking about
conductive.
this because remember you're the one, like right before I said it, you're like, yeah, because what's the first thing that they do when you pass on?
Yeah,
They shock your ass, yeah.
Yep, they try to bring you back by zapping you. So the heart has a little brain, which is a network of neurons known as the intrinsic cardiac nervous system, and it plays a key role in regulating cardiac activity. So your heart literally has a mind of its own. As we explore this consciousness that is...
The heart wants what the heart wants.
The heart does want what the heart wants, and it just wants to beat. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, sorry. Sorry to get all woo-woo and weird.
That's what we're all about, though. Don't be apologizing. That's what we were talking about a second ago. Don't apologize for your
Hashtag
weirdness.
not sorry. Ha! Trolled you good. Yeah, but it's also like... You start thinking about these things and you start going from one to another. The brain is the only anatomic system that is both a muscle and a fat or something like that, where it has stuff that it does automatically, but it's also conscious and controlled, like I can think about moving my hand and I move my hand, but I'm not thinking about taking the breaths between my words.
True.
I'm not thinking about my heart rate. I'm not thinking about my circulatory system moving. Mm-hmm. So I think that the heart has its own, whatever that tiny brain was called, inside of it to control its own activity and rhythms, if you think about it. Yeah, we just discovered it here. The human body has two brains.
That reminds me, and they proved later on it was a fallacy we believed in forever, that dinosaurs had 2 brains. Because they were so big. Yeah, and they're like, that's not true. They did not have it. There's no evidence whatsoever. Last I looked at, there was a fucking brain in their tail or their ass or whatever. They're like, that's so big that they had to, you know.
I mean, we're pretty tiny creatures, and they just discovered 2 brains for us. But they also think that dinosaurs look like giant lizards too. And then there's new evidence coming out that they look like giant birds or something like that. Like,
when there's got to be that transition. You know what else is fucking funny I found?
What's that?
There was however many that they believe. It wasn't the guy who was saying. Scientists believe at their peak that there was like half a million, quarter million Tyrannosaurus Rex roaming around at the time, right? And all these other dinosaur species that we probably have never heard of. We only attribute all of our knowledge of these fucking bastards to 1,000 or less skeletons.
Yeah, well, the interesting
one
part...
intact Tyrannosaurus Rex skeleton.
Yes, and the interesting part about that is that the conditions for a fossil have to be so correct that only 0.01% of all of Earth's species have been fossilized at all.
Yeah.
At all. It has to be a low oxygen, high carbon style of environment. Something like that.
Yeah, all those random things, yeah.
Yeah. So there are things on this earth that have been roaming around hundreds of millions of years before we came into existence as we know it, that we will never know of. Ever. It's a comedy podcast, folks. Laugh.
That's so crazy.
It just hits you with the profound of we really don't know what we don't know.
Right? And octopuses are literally from a different planet.
They have to be.
They have no other relative besides
so
like
brilliant
fucking squids.
True.
There's no like, you know, they didn't genetically branch off. Like they literally just like popped into nowhere. Mm-hmm. I think they were like the remnants left behind from like the species before us. I think squids, octopus, giant mushrooms roam this fucking earth. Did you know that actually before it was covered in trees, it was covered in mushrooms? These giant fucking mushrooms everywhere, yeah. Fungus, yeah, they're the real rulers of the world. The real like dominant species throughout time, fungus.
I believe it. The mycelium networks are so intrinsic to human activity and behavior that drum beats, that deep tone and deep rhythms will actually stimulate growth in the mushrooms. Like they will grow more. Not necessarily the flower that you see, but the roots, as it were, lack of a better explanation. The roots of the mushrooms will grow more, and then there will be more mushrooms that grow. Which is why I think there's so many fucking berserkers, because they would, you know, drum, dance, sing, you know, beat their shields, whatever, and then they would consume the mushrooms. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, we're all being harvested by the vegetation on this planet. So
I saw some of that, yeah.
Yeah, like what do mushrooms grow commonly in? Scat, right? So there you go. Humans consume the mushrooms, they scat, more mushrooms grow, more mycelium grows in a different area. It's all preservation and survival of the fittest.
Being harvested by plants for our carbon monoxide.
Yep. Beat those drums, my people. Have that deep bass tone. Just go. There you go, man.
I saw something else online where it was like if they did it like every person like standing with arm's length touched out or whatever could like cover this much space in the earth, and it was absolutely ridiculously small. Yeah. And then they're like, if every person in the world was given like 5 acres or something, they're like, it would be this big, which is again was like ridiculously fucking small.
Yeah, it's like the size of Texas for the whole entire Earth's population. I've seen that.
Yeah, I was like, so what are we fucking? Yeah, absolutely.
It's sold to us. It's sold to us. That mindset of scarcity is sold to us.
I mean, there's some better land, but also what it is I was watching, so they turned the movie The Gentleman into a series on Netflix. Okay. So, and they're talking about this one property in England, and they're like, yeah, we have 2,000 acres. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the fuck? 2,000 acres? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yes,
and that ridiculous.
Your mind can't even wrap around 2,000 acres. Honestly.
Right? Yeah, I grew up on 10 acres. That was
yeah?
fucking ridiculously huge. Yeah.
I think
as
I
a kid,
grew up on a third of an acre in
This shit was
suburbia myself.
Donkulous. Yeah, having a quarter of an acre even now is still pretty big property for a house in the yard. Yeah.
Yeah,
can
these
imagine
days they're
5
just
acres
packing
per
people in
family.
like sardines. Like, there you go. Reach out and touch your neighbor, literally.
I love the transition we went from the Industrial Revolution, because I think we're in a tech revolution right now, right? We've talked about it.
Okay.
What I would like
that's
to
why I'm all about cyberpunk. So,
Right. You know, what happened in the Industrial Revolution is we made a bunch of billionaires rich, and, you know, the start of the unions. I think what needs to happen now is you have a cap on that. It needs to be like, you know, that's a whole other long ass fucking story there. Anyway, what was I talking about before? Tax the rich?
what was I talking about before the fluoride stare got to us?
Basically,
who
the
knows?
wealth tax. Oh, land. There you go. Yeah, 5 acres again too.
Versus a 2,000 acre estate.
Dude, yeah, the whole family gets to keep forever. So apparently, though, the death tax or the inheritance tax in Britain is extremely. I think it's pretty ridiculous, honestly. Myself, 50% goes to the state.
Okay.
That's pretty fucked up, man. I think I don't care like how much they have or don't have. That's just fucked up. But I also don't think that any one family should have 2,000 acres.
So as an American who literally works from
fuck?
January to August to pay his taxes,
Yeah.
they could cry about it. They're getting a 10% discount.
Well, I think there again too. You need to take a lot of stuff into a factor. I don't think anyone should be taxed 50% on what their fucking family member leaves them, regardless of how much it is.
All right.
Two,
is it
I also
time?
don't. What? No.
Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I also don't believe that any one family or any one people should have that much land. I think there should be some reasonable amount. And again, like you have 100 members in your family and you're all still on the same plot of land and everyone gets blank amount and that's your guys' allotted land. I get that. That's cool. You know,
Yeah.
and that's fine. You keep it that way. But the simple fact that I think Tupac was talking about it last night. I watched a reel and he was talking about, he's like, how crazy is it that someone could have this is back in the 90s, $36 million for winning the lottery. He's like, and people are fucking starving on the streets. He's like, how fucking crazy is this that we allow this shit to happen? And he's
Yep.
like, yeah.
Back in a blip.
I think there should be a certain level where you're like,
Well, there's that show Hoarders, right? So it's a psychotic. No, I don't want to say psychotic, but it's a mental illness.
it's actually a
to
symptom of
hoard.
OCD.
Yes,
Well,
and
well,
some people just hoard money, and that's their psychosis. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that.
I saw something, this guy was talking about how to be at that level, you actually have to be like mentally deranged. Like you have to be at
Yes.
such a fucking level of like, and he was talking about, he's like, even the richest people, like, he's like, they're worrying about their finances. And he's like, he's got hundreds of millions of dollars. He's like, what the fuck is he worried about? Like, what? You'd stop right now and you'd be fine for the rest of your life.
Because they know that will not stick around forever. It
Not
will
just that,
go.
but the wealth, we talk about the 99%, but then you start getting into the 1% and the half of 1% and the point, whatever, whatever. The wealth is ridiculous. Even when you're rich, you're not rich.
If you look at the Saudi royal family and the amount of funds or capital that they have to do all the stuff that they do, it will make you sick.
There's them, there's the Rockefellers, there's tons of examples.
Yeah, but I think the
Industries
Saudi royal family
family.
has been I don't know what's after $1 trillion, but I'm pretty sure they're up there. They're past trillionaires.
This is
Because everything's made off of oil.
you know, it's Standard Oil back in the day when they made him break up his company. That's the real fucking oil kings.
Standard Oil is the
Look that
name
shit
of the
up.
company?
No. So our first Rockefeller company, his company back in the day was called Standard Oil.
Okay.
And it was brought up with the whole monopoly thing, so he was made to break it up into all these other segmented companies, like Shell and Exxon and shit. It's all owned by the same fucking people. It's all still owned by the same shit. It's just the corporate bullshit of it's now whatever secretary or whoever in my family owns it versus me. It's all going back to the same place. So the Saudi royal family, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I have to say. We do not know who the richest people are, period. Because if I was the richest person, I would spend as much money as I could to make sure nobody knew I was the richest person.
True.
Because why do you think we have Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos in the news? Why do you think that these guys have the title of richest person in the world?
To be the icon, to be the focus.
To be someone that you don't talk about the richest person in the world. Yeah. Absolutely, that's that. Oh, I'm not the richest person. That Momo is, who has literally a fraction of what I do.
Well, I mean, if you write the laws, you control the laws, you could definitely make it to where you don't and are not the richest person in the world. You just have access to certain facilities, certain vehicles, certain luxuries, we'll say, that just happens to be owned by this conglomerate that you may or may not be a part of.
Yeah.
Because on paper, there's no trail.
Yep.
Who knows? Who knows? I'm a brokey.
Exactly, yeah.
I will never know these problems in the entirety of my life. I've come to terms with that.
No, Wayne.
No. I'm not gonna. I can have comfortably come to terms with the fact that I will not be an international conglomerate that can make silent moves and watch the tide of money flow in and out of one place to another. I am comfortable with that.
There's a cap to some things. There's definitely a cap to where you start and where you end. However, go back to Rockefeller. You know, he was poor, and I believe it was him or maybe Carnegie, one of the motherfuckers, and their dad was a con artist and shit. Mm-hmm. So, like, talking about starting off from nothing and coming up to something, it's about building that legacy. It's about, you know, so, yeah, we may not end our lives being a, global conglomerate, but how close do we get our next generation to becoming
I was about to say, yes, you can sow the seed of education.
Yeah.
I think that's the real thing. As long as you can keep your line, as it were, your genetic line off of screens and away from TikTok challenges that involve dancing, or the old man test. That's my favorite right now. Have you seen that one? That's fun.
Let's throw that out there.
That came across my feed. It's like, oh yeah, because I fit a certain targeted demographic for that to be a thing where I want to do it.
All right, we're gonna have to end it with this. Tell me this old man test. What is this?
We're gonna end it here.
Maybe, I don't know, but it might be.
No, I'd be cool to go Mike's Cold and talk about other stuff, because we got other stuff.
Oh, come on. You can't.
So
this whole old man test.
The old man test is basically they get a bunch of dads or grandpas to put on their shoes and tie it, and that's the old man test. If you could stand one-footed, pick your sock up off the floor, put it on your foot while it's still in the air, and then bend over, pick up your shoe, put it on your foot, and tie it, all without that foot touching the ground, you're not that old. It's the age test.
Oh, okay.
And then, once you did the 1 foot, you got to switch feet and do it all again without having your foot touch the ground.
So basically, it's just a limber test. So if you're one of those, like, lucky centennials that actually can still, move around and shit because you've been focused on that your whole life.
Not even centennials. They're targeting people who are 30, 40, 50 years old.
What? God, how bad are we with our health, people?
Yeah, we are terrible with our health. Just go out in public.
Fuck.
Go to your local Renaissance festival and you will see how bad our health actually is.
No, yeah.
On a national scale.
Not body shaming. I'm health shaming you. There's a difference. I'm a health shame you.
Yeah, there's probably...
I've seen some beautiful big people, bro. Like, there's some beautiful big people out there. But no one is beautiful when they're unhealthy.
Yes, there's a difference between weight and health. All right. I guess we'll end it here. I'm cool with ending it right there until next week.
Until next week.
We're halfway to being 1% of podcasters.
Woohoo! See, look at that. See, folks? The rule of 20. 20 minutes a day for a year, and you're better than 95% of the population in the world at one thing.
If we've enriched your life in any way, go ahead and give us a follow on Spotify, and maybe our YouTube channel will come up sometime or another. Anyway.
Links to our merchandise coming soon.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.